Hello, students. I am Dr. M. K. Srivastava, Department of Chemistry, Gaya College, Gaya. In this video, particularly is for MSc first semester students. We are discussing about the free radicals, their properties and reactions. Let's start. A covalent bond may be cleaved homolytically to form fragments containing odd electrons. That is, A single bond B gives A dot plus B dot. These fragments containing odd electrons are known as free radicals. The chemistry of free radicals dates from 1900, when for the first time Gomberg accidentally prepared the triphenyl methyl radical. Nernst suggested that free radicals take part in chemical reactions, and he postulated a radical chain mechanism for the combination of hydrogen and chlorine. Subsequent studies led to the development of various methods for the production and detection of free radicals. Paneth et al. Has first demonstrated the existence of alkyl free radicals by the decomposition of methyl alkyls. Norris suggested that the free radicals could occur as intermediate into the photolysis of carbonyl compounds. Rice and Hirschfeld produced radicals from the dissociation of hydrocarbons, and they interpreted the reaction on the basis of radical chain mechanism. For the anti-Markovnikov addition of hydrogen bromide to olefins in presence of peroxides, a radical process was suggested by Kharas. Free radicals have been known to take part in the autooxidation, polymerization, and photochemical reactions. The study of free radicals chemistry has grown rapidly, and the improvement in the chemical technique, experimental techniques, has added to our knowledge of their behavior. And now the configuration of free radicals. The geometry of organic free radicals is still controversial. The carbonium ions are planar, as has been substantiated both by chemical and physical methods. Carbanions which are isoelectronic with amines are considered to be pyramidal. So you can see that carbonium ion or the carbocations are trigonal planar, whereas carbanions are trigonal pyramidal. Conceivably, a free radical may be considered as having planar configuration analogous to a carbocation, or a pyramidal configuration similar to a carbanion, which is capable of rapid interconversion. Several attempts have been made to decide between these two configurations. The chemical evidence concerns the halogenation of optically active substrates. The basis of this experiment is that if the radical is completely free, it will not be capable of sustaining optical activity, and therefore racemic products should result. Kharas and co-workers studied the chlorination of optically active 1-chloro-2-methylbutane and obtained optically inactive products. The laws of optical activity show that a free radical is probably planar. Alternatively, it may also mean that the radical is rapidly inverted before it can react with chlorine, and as follows, to give inactive products. However, if the reaction with chlorine is fast compared to the inversion of the free radical, then optically active products would form. The formation of racemic products had been observed by other workers during NBS, that is N-bromosuccinimide bromination and decarboxylation, particularly decarbonylation reactions. Scale and his co-workers in a re-examination of this problem suggested that in contrast to chlorination, bromination could be stereoselective in certain systems. For example, bromination of plus 1-bromo-2-methylbutane gives optically active minus 1,2-dibromo-2-methylbutane. In this case also, the interpretation with result is ambiguous because it is possible that the protein traps the free radicals as soon as they are formed, before they can invert, and that thus leads to optically active products. This explanation has indeed been offered in the bromination of 1-cyano-2-methylbutane. Scale has also proposed a bridge structure formed by neighboring bromine participation to explain the results. It is well known that 1-bromo-apocamphene reacts very sluggishly with the silver nitrate because a carbocation is formed slowly as the bridgehead carbon. Radicals nevertheless are formed, as it can be seen from the fact the silver salt of apocamphene 1-carboxylic acid undergoes normal bromination according to the Hunsdiecker reaction to yield the corresponding bromoderivatives. Thus, there seems to be no inhibitions of the formation of a bridgehead radical. Now, let's talk about the stability of free radicals. The stability of free radicals and carbocation follows the same order, that is R3C greater than R2CH greater than R2CH3 greater than methyl radical. This sequence also reflects the decreasing hyperconjugative interaction. Free radical as a rule can be stabilized both by conjugative and hyperconjugative interactions, but the difference in the stability of a radical is less marked than that of the corresponding ion. The triphenyl methyl radical is stabilized by delocalization of the odd electrons into the benzene rings. Much information about the stability of free radicals has been derived from polyaryl ethenes. It is generally believed that the two main factors that provided driving force for the dissociation of hexamphenyl ethanes are resonance and steric effect. Resonance of the type shown by triphenyl methyl radical stabilizes the radicals and favors their formation. The conjugative stabilization makes the odd electron less available in alkyl radical to abstract a hydrogen atom from another molecule or undergo any secondary interactions. Hyperconjugation, as in carbocation, has also been suggested to stabilize free radicals. Presence of bulky group at the ortho position in hexaaryl ethanes makes the central carbon-carbon bond longer and weaker due to the steric repulsion. The dissociation energy is therefore decreased. It has been estimated the presence of halogen at the ortho position weakens the carbon-carbon bond length by 30 kcal per mole. In addition, the ortho substituents prevent the dimerization of radicals. For this reason, bulky tertiary butyl or phenyl radicals are necessary for the stability of phenoxy radicals. Conversely, a reduction in steric repulsion will decrease the possibility of dissociation. The ortho substituent, however, partly offset the mesomeric contribution to radical stability because they prevent the radical adopting a planar structure. This has an effect of reducing the free energy, or more correctly, the resonance energy. The relative importance of these two opposing effects has been inferred from the thermodynamic data for hexaphenylethane relative to ethane. It has been estimated that the resonance effects are twice as important as the steric effects. Nitrogen radicals differ from the carbon radicals in that the former do not react with oxygen. Indeed, this is one of the reasons why 1,1-diphenyl 1-picaryl hydrazide, that is DPPH, is so widely used as a standard free radical for electron spin resonance spectroscopy. Moreover, it is violet in color, very stable in solution, and shows no tendency to dimerize. Several other free radicals are phenylene, dipara, dimethylaminophenyl amino radical, Wurster-Brook, Chichi-Babin hydrocarbon, Cernak hydrocarbon, Fremy salt, etc. Now let's discuss about the detection of free radicals. Free radicals are highly reactive species because of their tendency to pair electrons in bonding. They exist as transient intermediate in several chemical reactions. Their presence in solution and in the gas phase can be deduced only by the use of physical and chemical methods. The development of ESR spectroscopy provides unambiguous information about the structural features of the free radicals. There are also other methods which demonstrate their existence. The first is Paneth technique. Paneth et al. In 1929 used the apparatus consisting of a U-tube connected to a long metal tube and a reservoir from which nitrogen gas is passed, and at the other end is the pump. They clearly demonstrated the formation of methyl radicals in the pyrolysis of tetramethyl red. A current of nitrogen gas was passed through tetramethyl lead and the mixture was allowed to flow in a large glass tube. First heated at a particular point, let's say A, and a lead mirror deposited in the glass wall of the tube at this point. The tube was then heated at a new position B and a mirror deposited at this point, but at the same point the mirror at A disappeared. This led Paneth to conclude that tetramethyl lead decomposed into highly reactive radicals which, on passing down the tube, removed the mirror from point A to regenerate tetramethyl lead again, which could be collected into the trap. This technique was later employed for the detection of free radicals generated from other sources, such as photolysis of aldehydes and ketones, cracking of paraffin hydrocarbons, and reaction of sodium vapor on organic halides.